In this video, we'll be looking at the contacts SigParser finds, how to search for those contacts, and then how to tag those contacts, all within SigParser. So to get started, what you'll do is you go up to the top right and you'll click Contacts, and then you'll click Contacts again. That'll bring you to the contact search screen. At the top of the contact search screen, you'll see a series of buttons. You can scroll left and right, and then you can scroll up and down. This shows you all the contacts. You can just keep scrolling down and it will just continue to load forever. Now we can go and search any of the column headers. So for example, we're going to search for McGlenn, and we can see all of the McGlenns that come up. You can clear the filters either by clicking the X on the column header or clicking the red X that I just clicked. Now you can search by work email. We have other fields like personal email that you can add. I can clear the filter again. And then I can search for domains, for example. So the email domain, so @Sherwin-Williams would be an example. Next, I can reorder columns by moving them, by dragging them. You click the header and just drag it to the left and the right. I can add more columns by clicking the gray icon there and then searching for the column name. So in this case, we'll go ahead and add some more columns here, location columns. And then if you scroll to the right, you'll see those columns were added to the right side of the grid. And then you can, of course, search on the column, in this case state, for California. Then we can see the number of rows that are returned by any search result up the top there. So in this case we have 132 rows that were returned. Now we can do an advanced filter. So the green icon there, that green icon that says 2, that says we're going to do an advanced filter. And so by default you're always going to have an advanced filter set up, but in this case we're going to create a filter on contact name. So any contact name that contains what we typed in there, we'll find a contact for. So in this case I typed it wrong, and now we'll do Brendan. And you can see that we found all the Brendans. Now we can do an OR expression. So we want to say let's find all the Brendans or Chris's. So now we see all the Brendans or Chris's. And we can add more conditions on here. We can just keep adding tons of OR conditions onto here. Now, the advanced filters by default will always exclude internal contacts and is spam when you first load the page. But if you want to include more, you can. It's also possible to do any conditions or conditions. So you can have an OR statement where you can say, if any of these fields are true or any of these fields are true. So that's what we're doing here. You click the little less than symbol on the right side to generate an OR condition. And then of course you can always say, instead of the match all, you can switch the top to say match any, and that will change it from and or for everything. So you can see here that now we've got results using our OR expression. And if we go back to here, we can click Clear Filters, and that will clear out all of the filters that we have applied, and this will reset us to everything. So in this case, we're seeing everything here. We're seeing spam contacts, non-spam contacts. And then you can go load an existing set of filters. So there's a filter called external contacts. So this is going to show us everyone that's external, not someone that's internal. We can see VIP contacts. And then we can go look at the definition of that filter. So in this case, meetings greater than 2, inbound emails greater than 5, and then if you click view and or, you can actually see it spelled out as more of a sentence. So meetings greater than 2 and inbound emails greater than 5. So in this case, we're seeing the results here. You can click save. We didn't make any changes, but if we had, you can click save and then type in your new query name here, and it will show up under your My Filters New Query section. Next, we'll look at bucketing. So when you want to bucket or tag contacts, you can select some contacts on the left side and then go to the orange button and click select or set buckets. And then you can click add to add contacts to the bucket. You can see a list here, and you can always add more buckets later, and we'll show you how to do that in a second. But you click add, and then the contacts are added to the bucket, and then you click the orange button to add a bucket. So you can have different types of buckets, and then you have names for buckets. So a bucket type would be list, role, tag, maybe a type of media. So the bucket names might be magazine, for example. And you can add more bucket types as a system configuration in SigParser for yourself. But for the most part, you'll deal with just individual instances of tags or buckets or lists. So you can see here we have a contact. We added them to a bucket or tags, and so they're part of multiple sets. And then we can go see a list of all of them and all of our buckets or tags. And then we can go into one of them and see all the contacts that are inside of here. So you can see which contacts are there. You can remove them. You can undo it if you make a mistake, but once you refresh, then they'll be gone. And then you can export all of the contacts that are in that list as an export file. That concludes the overview of how to manage your contacts, search for them, and tag them. If you'd like more details, you can contact us and we'll be happy to respond. And we also have lots of support documentation on how to make full use of SigParser.